One more time for everybody that has died at the hands of law enforcement or died unjustly and hasn't gotten justice yet. For all the families that's out here and for somebody that knows it could be you next. Black power? Black power! Black power! Make some ancestral noise out here, DC. And we out this motherfucker. NSAC.
ATL represent, baby. ATL, ho.
Interrupted, the most hunted down, the most hated and debated, the most anticipated, the most you've been tired of waiting, the most I'm tired of listening to everybody else imitating. This is the Morning Mental. I am the official Grandmaster J. This is the real deal. This is not an imitation. All those fake channels out there, those people out there pretending to act like they know what's going on in the camp of the Most High. I come to you this morning the best way I know how, in your ear hole, to talk to you in your soul, to move you in the physical so that we as a people can return to our former glory. I'm going to take my time with you this morning. I'm not going to hit you with a quickie. We're going to be here for a while. So unplug the phone, as they say. Tell everybody you can't find them right now because you're busy, focused. You don't want to be disturbed. You don't want room service right now. Matter of fact, you want to be left alone. If somebody in your house has plucked your last nerve and you need a break, you leave them right now, because I'm bidding you a shalom this morning. I'm saying peace unto you. I'm saying assalamu alaikum to you this morning. I am saying peace, love, and light to you this morning. I know our relationship has been rocky. And I know I had to leave the house for a few minutes, but like any real man, I'm going to come back, knock on the door and say, throw myself at your feet and say, look, nobody's perfect, but I'm perfect enough for you and you perfect enough for me. So let's get it back together. As they used to say in the old song, we back in stride again. And as Ashford and Simpson would have said, we still solid as a rock. No, we did not come to be the dream catcher or the dream maker because we don't deal in dreams. We are fully awake this morning. Turn to the person laying next to you and say, this is what I've been waiting on. Here it is one last time in your ear hole. Again, for those of y'all who don't know, this is where I sit down in the morning and I tell you thus what Yah has said to me to say to you. I don't make it up. I just pass it on. If you don't understand what's going on here, you have somehow found yourself inside of a specific group, a peculiar people. You have found yourself amongst the Most High. You found yourself sitting with the chosen and you're sitting right next to the righteous. If you're on your job and the Neanderthals and the Edomites are getting pissed off, put it in the speaker and turn it up because it's the blackout hour for the black nation, for black people to talk about black business, for black thought. You see, if you could mind your own business and stay out of our business, we could probably rebuild our business and get to the business at hand of elevating and recreating our own nation. There's nothing wrong with loving your own kind. Just don't hate nobody else unless they've given you good reason. For what reason could we possibly have to hate anybody? For anybody to say that because we trying to get ourselves together is hate speech. Because we trying to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps by ourselves, there must be something wrong with that. And then, of course, we have to deal with the spirit of fear. A lot of y'all, it's okay. I know you're scared. You're scared because nobody educated you when you was young. You're scared because you didn't have your mama and your daddy like everybody else, so you only got half the puzzle. You're scared because you really have never had to deal with nothing that somebody who didn't look like you had control over. You are scared, and it's okay to be scared. But the problem with being scared is when you let it affect your behavior, especially when you try to hide being scared. You try to stir up other mess to distract the fact that you're scared. You tell people that it's not time yet. You tell people that we're too close. You tell people we're too far back. You tell people we don't have enough. You tell people, you say all of those things that they said when we said we was going to leave Egypt. You're saying all those things that when Israel said, well, we're not big enough to fight them. And the Lord said, don't worry about all that. I got you. Just do what I told you to do. You're so scared because finally you knew that the day that you've been making money off of, you knew that the person or peoples you've been talking about, you're so scared because the time has arrived and the messengers have come for real. And the people know the truth when they hear it because they hear it in their soul. They don't hear it in their ears. They hear it in their soul. There's somebody right now that's sitting up at the sound of my voice and they're saying there's something about the way this brother is talking to me this morning. This is a black man. This is walking melanin. This is walking black kingship. This is a reclaiming of the people. Not everybody, because some of y'all lost. Don't you know that if the apple falls off the tree and rolls too far from the tree, not only do we not know what tree it came from, we don't even know if it's still an apple because we don't know and depends on where we found it. If I find an apple in the orange patch, if I find an apple on the grapevine, I'm going to have to wonder how it got here. Somebody has been doing something they ain't got no business. So we can't go out and get everybody and bring them back. We only have to get the ones that's sitting right under the tree. We only have to get the ones that's still sitting in the shade. You have to understand my people. When I say my people, there's a lot of people that are not my people. I don't hate you. I have nothing but love for you. But before I can love on my side piece, I got to love on my main thing. Before I can go out and cop you a new ring, a new watch, a new car, car, a new house, a new business proposal, or anything, I got to do it for my own kind. I got to do it for my sisters. I got to do it for my brothers. I got to do it for the little kings and the little queens that's propped up right now and been wanting to know, where is the voice of stability these days? Where is the voice of reason? Why are all of these scared people running around? Is that the way we supposed to be? Mama, should I be scared? Because daddy's scared. Daddy, should I be scared? Because mama's scared. Mama and daddy, should I be scared? Because grandpa's scared. Everybody's scared, so I should be scared too? I don't think so. Somebody say, talk, black man. So I have joined you all again to have come down from what they would call the realm that I dwell in, which none of you can ascend to at this time, to hang out with you, sit with you, talk with you one more again, as they say, and see just how many of y'all the light bulb goes on. When you move yourself into a place where this is not about what you believe, it's not about what they want you to believe, it is what you know to be true in the depth of your heart, in the depth of your spirit. You know it to be true. Whether you decide to deal with the truth or not is a whole nother story. But right now, in the season we're in, right this moment, black folks, this is not about sitting down to try to teach or to preach to you. It's to reach you. All I got to do is reach you and you'll do the rest. I just tried to light the spark and the gas station will go up. I'm trying to launch the missile and let it do what it does. And right now, every time I light the spark, every time we get the fire going, every time the steam starts to build, one of you scared jigaboos comes and pours water on our fire, or snuffs out the fuse, or come and open the door so all the steam goes away. You don't want us to elevate. You don't want us to be united. You don't want that because you don't know how. You see, it's hard for somebody to love someone who's never been loved before. It's hard for someone to feel compassion or critically think when they've never done it before. And it is even harder to get someone who is so stupid, so ignorant, so misinformed, and scared at the same time. It is hard to pull them back from the brink of their own self-destruction. In a song that I wrote back in 1984 called Black on Black, there's a line that says, inflicted by their very own victims, sociological, self-destructive mayhem. That's exactly what you all are living today, and I wrote about it in 84. Let me say it to you one more time. Inflicted by its very own victims, sociological, self-destructive mayhem. All of those elements exist within us as a society today. So once again, I have had to ascend to the holy desk. I have had to sit behind the podium, if you want to call it that. I'm sitting at the rock, hoping that somebody will come sit down and join me at this time. We're going to be here for a while. I'm just in my intellectual foreplay with you right now. I haven't gotten down to the business yet. I got to heat you up and wake you up and ease you out and turn you around. I got to smooth you over. I got to find your frequency and match it so that once we get in harmony, all hell breaks loose up in here and we can get down to the business at hand. There's a woman right now that's looking at her man right now and said, did you hear what this brother just said? I want you to adopt that technique and everything that you move forward. We got a lot of things I want to talk about this morning on the Morning Mental. Y'all know y'all been out there running around, listening to false teachers. You've been running around, questioning some of the learned ones. You've been running around, re-examining what they've told you. You see, in the absence of true knowledge, you begin to see the fakery and the exposure of false teachers, false prophets. You begin to see who the charlatans are. You begin to see the same way that when Yeshua went up into the temple and turned over the tables of the money lenders, the first thing he did when he walked in was he got rid of what today would be your Cash App, your What App people. He got rid of all of your GoFundMe people. He got rid of the beggars. He kicked them out of the temple. Why? Because you go to the temple for knowledge. You go to the temple for the improvement of your soul. You go to the temple so that you can be a better you physically, mentally, and spiritually. And if you have to pay when you enter the temple, then it is not the true temple. I just taught a word up in here, and y'all ain't rocking with me this morning. So when you stop and you think about what we doing right here for free, why would they unplug or shut down something that's free? Why would they take away from the people when something is being given to them with asking nothing in return? Because our entire society is built over you give me something and I give you something in return. That is everything that is predicated. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want to feel comfortable in your fear. You want, misery is where you like to take up real estate. And you like company in your real estate. Have you ever dealt with a person that rather than address the pink elephant in the room, they'll start all kind of arguments and make up all kind of things and challenge you on things rather than deal with the pain and the consequences of what they've done? Even as a people, you can have a collective sense of denial where you don't want to deal with the pain and the guilt and the shame and the consequences of what you've done as a people, to the point where it becomes a mass psychosis that when someone attempts to say, hey, you got a problem and we need to fix that so we can all be better, they attack you, say you a liar, and then they'll kill you because they don't want to deal with the pain, because it's easier to be a coward than it is to look your pain in the face and say, I'm going to deal with you. So this morning, if y'all don't mind, I would really like to hang out with the brothers and the sisters, the limited few that are here. I know that I've gotten rid of a lot of you. Remember, I told y'all once before, the only people that have been allowed inside of this particular circle, don't think that you made it. We're still screening and kicking people out. There's people getting kicked out even as we speak who are trying to figure out, why did I get kicked out? You've been kicked out because we can see your true spirit. You've been kicked out because you standing on the fence. You see, you can't hang out with the devil at night and then walk with the creator in the daytime. Them two don't go together. Sometimes you are guilty by association. Change your company, and then you won't have to change your company. Y'all miss what I just said. Let me teach that to you. You change the people that you hang out and take your energy from. Otherwise, you might have to change your job. You can't stay on this team or stay in this company if you are associating with the competition. You can't be up in here talking about you wanted the righteous, the chosen, and the elect, but yet you're out colluding with the enemy. You are out doing things that are contrary to what is written in the great book. You can't do those things, but some of y'all, in your arrogance, in your walking as flesh, think you can do that. And then when it all comes down, y'all remember I already taught you. They always talk about you going to hell, or they always talking about, well, we're going to wait until the judgment, but they never talk to you about what happens at the judgment, do they? I've taught you. You need to go back. Y'all got enough time on your hands now. Go back and examine every facts over feelings, every morning mental. Digest them now, because you're not getting them at the pace that you did before, because the enemy has seen what is coming. Can I talk in here? Let me start this morning first, and I'm going to start with this because there's been some question, and I've come to watch you all, and I have been watching, and I've noticed that some of you, for all that you've learned and all that you've heard here with me on the morning mental or facts over feelings, that it only takes a few days for it to wear off and you fall right back into your moment of sleep and ignorance. I've seen people walk up to you and question everything that you've learned. And because of your own fear, your own doubt, your own insecurity, that you will not stand on the word, you will not stand when you are pressured, you're falling right back to where you were before. And I keep asking myself, why is it only 144,000? What about the other 7 billion of us? Well, the reason that the other 7 billion of us are not involved in the story is because of what you're doing right now. You see, this is not something that you just gonna walk into. Y'all not gonna walk out of this in one piece. Come on now. You're not going to slide into salvation. You're not even going to tiptoe into heaven. You're not going to do any of those things because the greatest rewards are given to those who show work. The greatest rewards are given to those who show themselves steady and approved. The greatest rewards is those who are able to wake up from the religion that was beat into your ancestors and learn your true form of worship, learn your true nature of who you are, learn that you're a soul within a body, not a body with a soul, that they are not equal. Once you learn these things, they cannot be unlearned, but until you have the courage to accept them, then you haven't moved any at all. You see, I hear people say all the time, I'm a child of the Most High. I hear people always say, I'm a child of the King. I always hear people walk around and say, oh, you can't tell me nothing because I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, which is the craziest thing I ever heard. But you hear this all the time and you always challenge them and you say, oh, really? So you believe in Yahuwah. You believe in the Most High. You believe in Jehovah. You believe in God. You believe in El Shaddai. You believe in Elohim. You believe in whatever name you have given. But the real question becomes, just because you believe in them, do you believe them? There's a difference. Oh, we all believe in a higher power. But if you believe them, that means that whatever they say, you believe it. You don't challenge it. You don't try to undo it. You believe them and it controls you and it guides you and it gives you things as a measuring stick when things happen in your life and it shows who you truly are. Because just because you believe in me doesn't mean you believe me. I am real. I'm sitting in front of you. But half of you don't believe what I say. And it's a reflection of your belief in yourself, in our people, and in the higher power that put us here for a reason. So the real question is not, do you know him? Because I think all y'all know him in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Hell, a lot of y'all don't even realize that just because you know him doesn't mean he knows you. But the real question is, just because you know him, do you believe him? Because if you did, it would become very apparent to you that you need to believe in a few other things here on the Morning Mental. I've said these many times before, but since y'all been gone away for a while, let me requench your thirst. Remember, I told you once before, intellectual foreplay is where we're at. You have only been a person for 56, going on 57 years. 57 years is not old. 57 years is you starting to get up there. 57 years is you can still go to the club. You can still smoke on something. 57 years, you ain't retired yet. 57 years is the age of a lot of the folks watching me right now. 57 years was 1964. 1964. Why do I say that? Well, let me not breeze over that, because prior to 1964, black people were not considered full citizens. Black people didn't have the same equal rights that the Constitution said that they should have, but we all know that when they wrote the Constitution, we were slaves and it wasn't written for us. They had to write us into the Constitution. If your rights as a human being are inalienable, why should they have to write something in? Why did it take an act of Congress to give us rights that we already had as human beings? Why? Because of the simple fact that they never saw you or still don't see you as an equal. They see you as a thing that they have to give rights to. When you say there's a law against cruelty to animals, the animals didn't come and say, we need a law saying that you're being cruel. No, the human beings took it upon themselves to pass a law that affected other human beings to tell them, don't be cruel to the animals. The same way they gave you the 13th, the 14th Amendments to the Constitution, they did the same thing. Y'all ain't got to work on the plantation no more. And you know you can vote now. Oh, and don't forget, you have all the same rights as we do as long as you don't go too fucking far. So you are not equal. So you've only been a person for 56 years. Hell, you've only been a person for as long as I have been alive. And if I'm just one person who hasn't gotten old and wrinkled up yet, and I come from the era when you were not a person, think about all the people that are older than me that are still here. And a piece of paper and ink did not change how they see us. They can say what they want, but these are the same people who have lied to everybody everywhere they've gone on this planet, only to turn around and steal from them, rob them, rape them, take their culture. Yes, see, when you are people who have no culture, you run around taking everybody else's culture. And you know which group of people gives away their culture more than anybody else? You know a group of people is more forgiving than anybody else? You know a group of people are so domesticated more than anybody else? It's you, black people. So for a group of people who didn't have no culture, thank you for giving them everything that they need, because now they don't need you no more. And the time has come to get your ass out the door. And you still sitting there being compassionate. You still sitting there being forgiving. You still sitting there being understanding. You still sitting there making up new shit for them to take from you. And then have the audacity to look at them and say, am I equal now? And they say, fuck no, nigga. You ain't never going to be equal. We're going to give you some more rights, though, to make it look like, because we want you to, we want you to be a well-behaved piece of property until such a time we can make some more money off you. I'm on my morning mental this morning. You better tap a friend and let them know, oh, it's a private thing this morning. Please don't send me messages while I'm in the middle of this. If you do, I'm going to block you right off of here permanently, and then you won't know where we are before. Don't be inconsiderate of your brothers and sisters who have been thirsting for a word, who have been thirsting for some more knowledge, who have been thirsting to hear a voice from those from up above. Don't be so inconsiderate, because we don't care about you when you don't give a damn about us. See, that's a lot of our problem. Some of us only give a damn about ourselves and no one else. And you can be that way through life all you want, but don't bring that over here to the family. Don't bring that over here to the black ethno nation. Don't bring your selfish attitudes to an unselfish population. I need some fake people to fall off right now. I need some people who already got it together and they want to stay integrated and stay here. I need y'all to go ahead and fall off. Stop spectating, because you're going to find out that when we do get it together, you won't be able to come talking about I want to be down. No, our ass gonna stay right over there where you was at. You chose your team. Now stay with it and stick with it. You've only been off the plantation for 155 years. 155 years ago, you picking cotton and a bunch of other stuff I'm not going to go into. 155 years ago, you was property, like my dog. 155 years ago, 1, 2 lifetimes ago. 155. Now, there's nobody I know that's 155 years old, but there's damn sure some people sitting around that's 101, 112, 113. There's a few of them rolling around here. And if they still here, they remember everything that I'm talking about. They don't seen it all. If we talking to somebody who's been here since 1920, to now, they came along when they started burning down black towns. They was around when the rise of the KKK. They was around when Jim Crow started. They was around for the black codes. They was around for the lynch era. They was around for the civil rights movement. They was around for the Marvin Gaye period of the 70s when it was cool to be black for 5 minutes. They was around when crack destroyed the black communities on purpose. They was around when hip hop became black music form that was uplifting us, and then watched it turn into some negative, nasty shit that had everybody imitating it and killing each other and thinking that it was cool to sell drugs and treat our women like sex objects and glorify it in front of every other race. They was around when they took all of our rights by the 9/11, whatever you want to call it, situation, and when they was around. They don't seen all that. And them black folks I'm talking about on the morning mental. But what about the white folks that was around through all of that? Let me flip that for you. Yeah, they was around when they mamas and daddies was out burning down and lynching us. They was around when they came out with Reconstruction and Jim Crow and all of that, because they mothers and fathers helped draft those laws, and they enforced them in their businesses and their homes and their schools and their churches. They was around when they tried to send the little girls to school, and they was throwing rocks at them, and they was sitting around coming up in your house and snatching your ass out to jail and so forth. They was around when all of those Klansmen marched in D.C., 55,000 deep with their robes on that we can't find them. They was around when they sicked the dogs on y'all down in Birmingham and started killing all of our black leaders because we started getting our shit together. They was around when they started sending black people off to Vietnam like we had some vested interest in this shit and fucking up everybody's lives, and people coming back brain damage to this damn day and shell shock. They was around when they watched crack tear through the black community and watch everybody become crack fiend and crack dealers. They was around. They was around when they children started imitating them and dismantling affirmative action and starting to think places that they could never set foot on, women that they could never touch, and music they could never imitate became cool. They was around. And they still around today, and now it's their children that are around that's shooting your ass in the back, putting knees in necks, killing sisters in their homes, strangling our kids, and got a prisoner pipeline where they abuse and use you like slavery. They was around, and they still around. But some of y'all, you don't know that because you walking around in oblivion. For 246 years, they enslaved you, your ancestors, your great-great-greats. Y'all love to say how much you love your mama, how you love your grandmama, you love your granddad. Don't let nobody do nothing to my family. Somebody did something to your family worse than anything that a black person has ever done. So I need you to keep that same energy and stop acting like you're being comfortable in amnesia. You're practicing selective amnesia. Because these things I'm saying, half y'all know and ain't gonna do a damn thing about, and the other half didn't know and don't know what to do about. For 400 years, for 4 centuries, you were enslaved by the Arabs, by the Portuguese, and finally by the Europeans. And you have yet to respond as a people. When we started to respond, we thought we were on our way. We thought that this is it. We thought the Creator did a reset on the world, so this must be our time. Only to come out to find out that while we was trying to stand up, there was people holding on to our belt loops trying to get us to sit down and be good Negroes. We found out that when we formed the Not Fucking Around Coalition and became the largest black militia on the planet, when we started to stand to post and lynching disappeared when it was on the way back, doing things while black disappeared almost overnight. We get a spark every now and then. Yes, police shootings still going on, but they're not as buck wild as they was before because they know there's an armed response. When we started saying that we're not negative, that we're not terrorists, that we're not thugs, that we're defending our people, all of a sudden, the very people who ain't said a word about what you need to know about your past suddenly came to life and start saying, oh, they're a threat. Oh, they're killers. Everything that they accuse us of being is exactly what they are. See, it's easy for you to accuse somebody of something that you would do yourself if you was in the same situation. That is why the Creator won't allow 15,000 white people to organize themselves into a cohesive unit armed with weapons, because the last time they did that, look what they did to this planet. So when he starts to organize the children of the tribes together so that they can do what they need to do, these same people who are descendants of something I'm going to talk about here in a minute on the Morning Mental are the same people that's running around trying to tell you, the very people that would empower something like that, don't do that, don't do that, it's horrible, they're going to get you all killed, because they know that that's exactly the opposite. And any one of you dumb Negroes that's sitting there who still buying into that shit, I have nothing but to salute your ass and throw your ass in the fire with the rest of them, because because you have shown us not only can the black race not afford you no more, you are a liability. You are a threat. You are nothing more than walking blackface, because you have already shown us that in the time of need, when your people need you to stand with them unequivocally, unquestionably, that you won't do it, that you would rather stay in your cage and keep that collar around your neck and that barcode stamped on your ass rather than stand up and say, I've had enough of this. We don't know what's on the other side, but we're going to go because anything is better than to stay here and keep putting up with this bullshit right here. But a lot of y'all won't do that. I'm only talking to my strong brothers and sisters. I'm not talking to none of you weak, uneducated, scared ass, melanated, mismelanated. I'm going to call you mismelanated because you didn't deserve the melanin that was scooped out to you. You are no more in touch with your melanin than I am with going back to the Stone Age and trying to figure out why somebody would take the time to carve figures into stone, which had to take a while, and then leave it for all posterity, trying to send us a warning. And you dummies are sitting around right now thinking that it's just artwork. Tonight, when I start to talk about the Nephilim and the pyramid of the apocalypse and begin to unpack that book, then maybe somebody will know what I'm talking about. Somebody look to people on both sides of you and say, the black man is talking. As long as you continue to allow the continued colonization of black communities, you know, they call that gentrification. When you allow people from another race to come into your area where you grew up and tell you that you can no longer do what you do, when they say your culture is irrelevant and you still don't push back, then you have given up and you've already lost before you even began. Where are all those Klan robes? I'm going to keep saying it until they break them out. I have a sneaking suspicion that the next time we see all those Klan robes, the Klan robes that we saw before out there during the 60s and the 50s, I have a sneaking suspicion that the next time we see them will be the time when they are going to be worn. They're not in a museum somewhere. They're not somewhere folded up in the attic. Those are being ironed and pressed. Matter of fact, they're making new ones for the babies. You want to talk about reform? Guess what? Maybe reform is off the table. Maybe revolution is on the table. You see, reform means you change what you already have. Revolution means you destroy everything and start fresh. You want to talk about this? Then don't talk about it if you're not going to do it. Don't talk about how much you hate the government unless you are in a position to abolish the government. Don't talk about you want to get rid of courts unless you're ready to reestablish a new unified coalition court built up of all our peers. Don't sit here and talk about, well, they took our land. I never got my 40 acres and a mule. Well, if that ain't working, have you thought about how we would redistribute the land or take the land? Have you thought about that? How about where is all of the gold? Oh, they took your gold. They won't even let you have no gold. But yet your money is supposed to be based on some gold that you can't see. You better go back and read what it says. Matter of fact, you want to start fresh, just go ahead and abolish what they call the dollar and let us establish our own system. But don't forget, every person that has ever done that, they have demonized them and killed them. When any great leader says, I'm not dealing with the dollar no more, all of a sudden that person becomes a radical. All of a sudden that person's country has to be invaded and destroyed, and the person is hunted down and killed because they don't want to play the money game anymore. Speaking of the money game, I'm going to say this again because every time I say it, somebody gets it, somebody don't. I'm going to shift gears for a second. As you probably already noticed, I'm wearing the new hoodie from the NFAC. If you don't have your hoodie, the link is in the profile for this account. Go to the website and order your hoodie. It's getting cold outside. And in case y'all don't know, it's not just a hoodie. The hoodie serves a purpose. The NFAC shirts are a racial thermometer. If you wear this shirt and you walk around a bunch of white people, you're going to expose the racism right there on the spot. You're either going to have white folks that's going to say, you know what? I'm proud of black folks finally organizing themselves in some way, shape, form, and fashion. Most significant thing we've seen in 60 years. I salute y'all. I wish y'all the best. I'm going to be your ally once y'all learn to love each other. Or you're going to get the other white folks that say, oh, I can't believe they up in here with that on. How dare they come up in here? Aren't they a bunch of terrorists? Aren't they anti-Semitic? Aren't they this? Aren't they that? When they haven't taken the time to sit, listen, and learn anything. You see, an empty-headed fool makes the most noise in the room that we call school. Let me say that to somebody. An An empty-headed fool makes the most noise in the place that we call school. We're in class right now, and there's somebody right now who's trying to play catch up. They know that they way out of line, but what they don't understand is that you can't catch up right away. You got to go read the first book of Enoch with Yahweh's name restored. You're going to have to go read the book of Yasher. You're going to have to go read the book of Jubilee. All of these with Yahweh's name, Yahudah, or whatever name you choose to call them, that make you feel like you know what's going on. You're going to have to go do that. But before you do, make sure you purify your body and your mind, or you won't be able to receive anything that's coming down the line. Let me take some of this alkaline water, show you what I'm talking about. 9.5 or higher sets you up all day. I also would like to thank Dr. Sebi's family and all of those from the Flor de Manita and sent me a bunch of stuff that I'm going to share with you this morning. If you don't know who Dr. Sebi is, yes, we still waiting for them to come out with the documentary since they lynched in so many ways our brother Nick Cannon. But one of the things they sent me was this right here. This is blood purifier. Yes, it is. It's an herbal supplement. Y'all can see that, right? And put that in your face. This is from Bilingual Balance. This is a herbal supplement. This was created by Dr. Sebi and recommended. You want to get you some of this, right? Again, this is Victor Blood Purifier. You want to get you some of this. You also want to pick yourself up a bottle of the Lani Nerval Relaxation. This is all Dr. Sebi. Okay, I'm going to show that to you. You want to know how I stay the way I do and why I function on the levels that I do. Also, some Elder Boost. You want to get you some Elder Boost, right? You want to get you some Elder Boost. This is for immunity support. And then while you're also at it, don't forget to pick up a bag of, this is herbal supplement from in honor of Dr. Sebi. This is Victor Bowman's. And what we have here, this is cardiovascular and the nerve regulator. Yes, this is the nerve regulator. You got to have this. You all are eating things that are detrimental to your capabilities. In other words, you're putting cheap gas in a Lambo engine. Make sure you also go out and pick yourself up. Now this right here, this is the Cocolache. This is the ulcer cleanse and stomach aid. Go ahead and pick you some of this up also. You're wondering where you can get any of this from. Just go to bilingualbalance.com and they carry the specialty of all of the herbs and roots. Here we have some sarsaparilla. Again, you already know what it is. So I'm letting you know this is what's in my blood. This is what's in my brain. This is what has helped me to reactivate my pineal gland. And when I say that, some people are looking at me like, well, you don't look any different. Did you really think a third eye was going to pop out of my skull? No, my third eye is wide open. My pineal gland is fully functional. That is why I can think in multiple directions at the same time and multitask at the same time and still spiritually be connected with the Creator on the correct frequency of 444. You see, 777 is a frequency. 333 is a frequency. 444 is a frequency and a warning sign. But in order for your mind to actually become connected with the Most High, you have to have the right stuff in your engine. I've given you that little nutrition break because there's some people who just don't get it. We're talking about 55,000 Black Americans. 55,000 Black Americans. 55,000. Not 5, not 10, not 20, not 30, not 40. 55,000 Black Americans. You know who you are. New recruits. With a starting salary, soldier salary is $1,600 a month. I want y'all to do the math. $1,600 a month for 55,000 Black Americans. If you take 55,000 soldiers and you multiply that times 1,600, that comes out to $88 million a month. $88 million a month for payroll to pay 55,000 Black Americans. You take 20 million Black Americans and we ask you to pay $10 monthly. If you take 20 million and you multiply that times your $10, which is what you pay for a Happy Meal or some combo, whatever you want, that's $200 million monthly. What that ends up is $88 million is paid salary to each one of the 55,000 Black Americans. That leaves $112 million left to pay for more soldiers' gear, equipment, housing, training, travel, medical, and Black businesses. What I've just given you is the same blueprint that I've been giving you all along for how we grow the NFAC from a militia to a standing organization that is capable of protecting not only cities and towns and communities, but the entire Black race, self-supported by yourself. If we can't get 20 million Black Americans to pay $10 a month, can we get 10 million Black Americans to pay $20 a month? We have already started experimenting with this, and the response has been pretty good. A lot of you all understand that what you see before you up to this point, the NFAC has been group financed internally, but so many people want to help. So many people want to do their part who can't stand the post and carry a weapon, or who may be incapacitated, or just understand that there is a difference between being a member of the population and being a warrior for the nation. That is understandable. You make the choice yourself. And if you really down with us building this, you go on over to blacknfac.com and make a donation. That's the only thing that I have for y'all, because if once we reach this number, everyone who's a member of the NFAC is going to get a check cut for them. I done seen some lies out there from people that did not graduate from high school with an 8th grade education trying to explain to you what I just said to you and make it sound like I'm selling you some juice or some type of oil or some shit like that. I could care less. I just got a bunch of people that want to stand the post that is getting to the point where we're getting so big that it's time for y'all to get into the game. And if you can't get in the game by picking up a weapon, you can throw a dove set over there and make it happen. Float on over to blacknfac.com and help us finance 55,000 Black Americans who will get paid a check, and you can reach out to any one of them, because what has happened now is we're getting to the point where we need some stuff. And I'm not talking about what you get at the local gun store or what you order online. We need gear, equipment. We need housing. We need training, travel, medical. We need to support all the Black businesses that come to us. We need to start that now. Y'all think we talking about the liberation papers and the Million Guns March is going to happen just because you show up? It's going to take coordination. It's going to take us bringing out all types of support for y'all just to be out there. People got to go to the bathroom. People got to have stuff to eat. People got to have transportation. People have to be able to hear. There's a lot that's going into this, not just the indigenous nations that have stepped forward that said, we will give you the space on our reservation for you to come and do this so you're not subject to U.S. law. But before we can do that, before we can stand up and have a representation as a nation, y'all have got to help us get to that situation. This ain't nobody trying to ask you for nothing that ain't gonna never show up. If you make it happen, you'll see it happen right away. There are people right now that I don't get into people's business, and anybody knows me. I help everybody out. That's why I'm so shocked sometimes when people draw the sword against the angel of the house. I've helped people and have never told y'all what I've done for them, but I can't help everybody. And we can't do this all by ourselves. You always say, oh, look at Black folks. Oh, look at them. Oh, look at this. It's time to get down to the business. We got soldiers in the NFAC that ain't got nowhere to live. We got soldiers in the NFAC that need special requirements when they come out because of their medical conditions, but still are blessed to be a part of this organization. We got people that are coming out that we don't put our money together to buy them weapons. We have done all of these things. And I keep bringing this formula before you. 55,000 Black Americans, $1,600 a month. That's money in their pocket. $88 million a month in payroll. 20 million of y'all at $10, 10 million of y'all at $20. That leaves us money to get everything done that we need to do. I'm going to lay that at your feet. You run over to blacknfac.com and we'll see how this goes. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you want to talk about what I want to talk about today on the Morning Mental, and I told you we're going to be here a while. This is not a quickie. You need some water because round 2 is about to start. Before I continue, I would like to send a big shout out to Ryan Young, who's a correspondent at CNN Worldwide. And the reason I'm giving a shout out to Mr. Young is because you interviewed me on October the 4th in Atlanta, Georgia. You all saw the live stream of the CNN interview. Mr. Young, I'd like to know, where is that interview? Because it wasn't until I threatened to sue CNN that you all showed up and rolled up with the camera crew and the makeup and the whole 9 yards. And we gave you an extensive interview, and I haven't seen it yet. So Ryan Young, who's a correspondent at CNN Worldwide, you need to let me know what's going on with the interview, because my peoples want to see it. I want to send a big shout out to Vice TV for the story that they did about us. I see how they try to slide us in with the white boys as usual, but y'all have to understand something. When white people are trying to talk to white people, sometimes they got to put a little something on it to make it digestible to them. If they had done a whole show about nothing but the NFAC showing that much black power, that show would not have made it onto TV. And just to show you, when I tell you that this is chess, not checkers, I told y'all, see how people get caught up in their lies? The microphones that you saw put on me, the cameras that you saw on us out in Louisville, that was Vice actually doing the documentary that you saw a couple of days ago. See, I already thought this thing out months ahead. It wasn't about just reacting to what was in front of us. It was about making sure that you understood that we was going to be around for the long haul. And if you want that story told to you, it's going to come to you later. Oh, don't worry. Don't get bent out of shape. There's 4 more documentaries coming. PBS News has done one, HBO has done one, and RT has done one. See, y'all sitting around criticizing while they over here documenting your biggest movement. So I want to send a shout out to those networks that were not afraid to tell the truth. And you can expect to see, in fact, on your TV screen, in your living room, whether you like it or not. Social media is not the whole world. I want to continue. And y'all, I hope y'all all right. I hope y'all all right. Because remember, everything that I'm saying to you is out of love. Everything that I'm doing is out of my love for my people. I know all of us ain't perfect. We're an imperfect family. But listen, everybody got somebody jacked up in their family, but you still love them. I know I do. I want you all to realize that until we start to practice group economics, until the words of Claude Anderson become ingrained in our head, that every time we see a dollar, who can I spend this with? Black first. Then let me run off and give it to someone exotic. You understand what I'm saying? Let me think first. I got $1. Who can I spend this on? Black. Then think about who you can spend it on next. We need to reestablish black communities. People always hear that. We need to reestablish the black community. Most of y'all don't know what a black community is because you've never lived in one. Just because you live on a street with a bunch of people that looks like you does not make it a neighborhood. You see, a hood, if you want to know the true objective of that, had everything in it that we needed without having to leave. We had our own stores. We had our own banks, had our own doctors. We had our own fire station. We had everything we needed in the hood for black folks, by and for black folks. That's how it used to be. Everybody knew everybody, or knew of. When a new family moved in, we kind of had to know who you was and where you came from. If a sexual predator slid into the neighborhood, we knew about that too. You see, we embraced all of our brothers and sisters who came home from prison and made sure that they got a fair start. We didn't ignore them and hide and lock out doors from them and treat them like they're still criminals because another race said they're criminals. Don't get me wrong. I know that there are some people out there who are degenerates. There are some people who are psychologically jacked up. There are some people that are purely evil. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who got caught up in the system, paid their debt to society, said that they was going to come up swinging from their arms up, hitting in the ribs with life, and they come home and find out that their own people is keeping them down. They don't have to worry about the cops putting a knee in their neck like George Floyd. Black folks is doing it for them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You see, the real truth of the matter, my people, on this morning mental, if I can just be so painfully honest, is that we got off the plantation and being enslaved physically, only to become enslaved mentally. To all my brothers and sisters behind bars, those of you all that are doing your time, those of you that are paying your debt to society, those of you all that have probably cleaned up your mind and removed all the poisons that was put into them, whether they were physical, mental, or spiritual, that are ready to come back to the world and start afresh and reconnect. That there is a movement afoot that realizes that we are sometimes the worst people for you to come home to. We are the worst welcoming party. As a matter of fact, we so caught up in our emotions, we can't deal with the facts. We so caught up in our feelings that we can't deal with the facts. We don't even know the difference between justice and revenge. You see, white folks know the difference between justice and revenge because they got revenge on us for so many years that they realized they had to calm the fuck down and start trying to give out justice. But by then, they had got revenge on us so much that now we want some goddamn revenge. Yes, let's go ahead and be honest. Can I go on ahead and say something that don't nobody else want around, don't want to say? You don't want to say it around your friends. You don't want to say it because you believe in some bullshit called diversity that ain't did nothing for us. Can I just go ahead and say it? The truth of the matter is a lot of y'all just want fucking revenge. You don't give a fuck about justice. You want to pay somebody back for all the bullshit that's been done to us all these years, and damn what come after that. That's your emotions. Somebody say he telling the truth up in here. But I have said this many times, and I'm going to say it again here on the Morning Mental. Thank God black people only want equality and not revenge. But now I'm beginning to see that I may be wrong. Half of y'all want equality, but the other half wants revenge. And the only way that we can satisfy that, to get the revenge and the equality at the same time, is something that a lot of y'all don't want to hear. You can stay here and try to fight an enemy that has had 240 years head start on you, digging in, building up, and fortifying themselves. You can try that suicidal shit if you want to and get wiped off the face of the planet before anybody fires the first shot. You don't know the power that the United States government military has to eradicate any insurrection. Your attitude is big, but your arms are not. Your attitude is big, but your firepower is not. Your attitude is big, but your resources are not. Your attitude is big, but the ability for you to fall back to a place to regroup, to come back and fight again is not. You can't fight a war against me in my own house. That is a suicidal move. If you want to fight somebody, you got to draw them out of their house. You got to draw them outside. You can't run up in nobody's house. If I came to your house right now talking about we gonna have it out, you know your house better than me. You know where everything is stashed in the house. You know where the money is. You know where the guns are. You know where the ammo is. You know where the butcher knives is. Shit, you even know where the pot to put some boiling hot piss on and throw it on somebody. I used to always wonder, how can you go on in life after somebody done threw hot piss on you? You was having a great day, said the wrong thing, went the wrong place, stepped wrong, and somebody, I don't know why, was boiling piss on the stove and your ass stepped up and they threw it on you. Just messed you up. Now you got hot pee all over you. Smell like piss for the rest of the day. Just your mind is messed up. That's what happens when you fight somebody in their own home. Y'all talking about fighting somebody in their own home. Yeah, you might have some ownership rights to it. You might have, this is yours and that's yours and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, so much time has passed that what was yours is now theirs. And now you sitting there talking about you're not going to leave the house that you no longer have any control over. That the people now outnumber you in your house. The people got secret weapons you know nothing about. You still want to do some suicidal shit and sit here. And then you got the other group talking about, no, let's not fight them. If we all just get along with them, everything will be okay. Okay for who? Because it damn sure ain't okay for us. We have to establish our own system. We have to have our own laws. We have to. Because laws are how you govern a society. Name one law, black people, that you're under, that you're subject to, that you wrote, that's just about you. Y'all had a black president for 8 years. He didn't do shit for you in the law books. This is the first part coming to the end of the Morning Mental. I will be back. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Join me right back here.